name is Anne Reed. I'm from Oakville, Ontario, Canada. I am a visual artist specializing in inspirational acrylic abstract expressions. I embraced painting as a second career in 2016. My inspiration is color. I love color, and I always start every painting with the color first. My artistic journey so far has been a bumpy road and an exercise in overcoming adversity, rejecting things that were not really what I should be doing, and accepting who I am as a person, embracing that and saying yes and moving forward. It's also been so a part of my spiritual journey, my following Jesus Christ, and not in a religious sense, but in a relational sense. And my artwork, the visual art, and even the dance that I did before I transitioned into the visual art, has flowed out of relationship with Him, relationship with the one who is my creator, the ultimate artist. What happens is to me, it's a complete faith walk. I sit down at an empty canvas with usually, not 100% of the time. There's been a few times when I knew exactly what I was going to do. But generally, 98% of the time, I have no clue. I have no thought. I have no inspiration. I just, in faith, sit down in obedience because I'm responsible, to develop the giftings and abilities that I have. I would just say that somebody who's been a tremendous inspiration to me is Bob Burrich. And Bob Burrich has something that he says out called the Bob Blast. He's this funky, chillaxed painter in California, and you get his newsletter, and he sends you, every Monday his Bob Blast with a little video showing him painting. And so he uses Holbein paints, and he has a particular palette that he uses. So, because it was free, I watched this a lot, and I just like the guy. He's fun, he's passionate, he's enthusiastic, and he's so generous with sharing his knowledge. Because I was inspired by Bob Burrich. He explained how you could get a lot of drama in your work just by the darks and the lights, and how to use shadows, right, to bring more of 3D into your work. And so I just decided I wanted to use this Winston Newton purple for my shadows. So a lot of my work has purple in it, and it's because I like contrast. I like darkness in my paintings because the darkness is such a contrast, for the light. Let's face it, our life is full of chaos and drama and all the rest of it. Life isn't just, picture perfect. It's got stuff in it. And I think that what's important about that is that in the midst of the most challenging or even dark situations, there's always light, and light belongs in the darkness. So I like to try to convey that. Time is the biggest challenge, making it a priority and finding the space and the time. I did find community space in the town of Oakville in Ontario, Canada, where I live. Somebody had huge vision, and they transformed a public school and repurposed it into a creative arts center for the community. So they have every expression of the artistic, so they have visual arts, ceramics, woodworking, drama, and they have the community artistic groups like the Oakville Art Society, things like that. Their head office is there. And for a low fee, and they had wonderful space and canvases. So I joined there didn't have a full-time job at that time, and I just started to paint. Now here's the great thing, because you have all these other people just like you going there to do this, you start to make friends, and then you have community. We started going out for lunch together, and they allowed you to do 4 times a year an art exhibit in the building. So on the walls you could you could put your art, and you could sell it, and you could invite people to come, and they also had space that you could rent, and if you want to, like a solo exhibit, for example. And one of the things that was a surprise to me, and I have learned that is so valuable, is the importance of community as an artist, because when you're working, you really are alone, and in your space usually, right? So I've come to appreciate and understand the importance of community in your artistic practice. Well, my favorite and most special piece is called Dove, and this is the story. In 2019, before COVID, this woman who met me while I was painting live at a women's event, I was painting at the back, came up to me and she said, my husband's an architect, we have a new home, and I'm looking for a new artist to commission a piece for our home. And she said, would you do it? And I said, wow, yeah, I would. And so I went to her home. I had a wonderful time with her and her husband, got to know her colors that she liked, sort of the idea of more her story. I remember hot tubbing and whining it. It was wonderful. And I said, okay, well, I'm in the middle of a commission piece right now, so you'll have to wait a bit. And then of course COVID hit, and we're all in lockdown, and who could even get to a art store to pick up a canvas or whatever. But I said to her, would you pray for me? So that the thing that I bring forth is really for you, that it's authentic, really spot on the thing that you're supposed to have. So she said she would. So when I finally got around to doing this, which was, I don't know, maybe April or May, I'm telling you, this painting came out like so fast. And when I was painting it, I just kept every time, because I paint abstract, I just kept seeing this dove, like an abstract form of a dove. And I said, well, you know what? That doesn't seem very unique. Okay, I'm just going to keep going until I see something better. Anyway, and I'd see another dove and another dove and another dove. So I finally thought, all right, there's supposed to be a dove in this thing. So then I just kind of shifted to thinking about the composition, right? And because it's this big, huge canvas, and a dove is a very small thing, and it wasn't going to be the whole canvas about a dove. So I go into it, and then right away the scripture comes to me. I see you shining like gold and sparkling like silver under the wings of a dove. So when I was all, finished, I was going to write her up a letter and say, okay, this is the inspiration for this piece. This is what it means. And I look up the scripture and I read it out, and oh my goodness, it was in the Passion Translation, which is my favorite translation. And in the footnotes, it said this about it, that the way that he interpreted was that this could be seen as Christ on the cross in the moment of his crucifixion. When he says, I see you between the 2 stakes, shining like gold and sparkling like silver underneath the wings of a dove. Well, the 2 stakes could be like Jesus was crucified between 2 thieves. So there were 3 crosses. Jesus and the 2 thieves are mentioned, the 2 other men that were being crucified, because Jesus had a conversation with one of them. Or it could be the stakes were the nails, the nails. He was right here and right here. Now here's the thing about that. So if you go to church on Easter, there are times, there have been a couple of times throughout my life, when the preacher will actually tell you scientifically what happens to a person when they are crucified. And that also, they will tell you that the thing that was most painful for Christ, in his, they call it the passion, his suffering, was the moment when he was separated from God, because Jesus took the sin of all the world on him. That's why he came. He took the punishment for every evil, wicked, awful thing that has ever happened from the beginning of creation until the end. He took it on himself. He became the atoning sacrifice. God himself became human and hung on that cross. Go for it. Just go for it. And your stuff is great because you are uniquely you. Nobody else is like you. Nobody else has the same voice as you. No one else is going to have the same space as you. And you know what? Not everybody has to like your stuff, but there are people out there who will love your stuff and you'll be amazed. The other thing that I would say is don't compare yourself to others. You know, don't go, oh, my work is not good enough or whatever. Don't do that. Just say, you know what? Learn to love and appreciate other people. There's room for everybody. It's not a competition, right? And, you know, really your art is an expression of who you are, the voice, you know, the message you have of your heart. And your voice, there's room for your voice. There really is. Everything takes time. Everything starts as a seed and it grows over time. So, you know, you're faithful with a little and then that grows and then you get more. Nobody ever is an overnight success. Nobody. And the other thing is, you don't have to see yourself as being the most famous or most well-loved artist in the world at this time for you to have a fully successful artistic career. Absolutely not. There's all different sorts of ways that you can bring your art to the marketplace or out into the world. All sorts of ways. And just start small. Take baby steps. Find like-minded people who will affirm and encourage you. If you have people in your life that put you down and discourage you, well, just love them and say, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to surround myself with supporters. You can find and follow me on my website, AnneReedArtist.ca if you're in Canada, or AnneReedArtist.com if you're in the US or internationally. You can also see me at AnneReedArtist on Instagram or AnneReedArtist on Facebook.